claim that they're fighting for, the reason they were in that room to hear me talk about the assault on women's health, if they really wanted to make that change and make sure that our legislature was going to stand up for their rights in the next round, they needed to be making choices in their municipal elections. Where do they think those legislators came from? But city councils and school boards. You need to be involved in every race, from the top of the ballot to the bottom. If you aren't voting in the Chapel Hill election for mayor and council and our school board, you aren't being the change you say you want to have in this state. Everyone here who comes to a League of Women Voters forum claims to be involved and they want to exercise their democratic rights, and they want to ensure that that the democracy is working here in Chapel Hill, or in our state, in our country. For us to be true to that, we need to make sure people vote for every race, on every ballot, every time we have the opportunity. And I know I'm in a room speaking to the choir, but I was so disappointed by those Duke Law students, and I hope that it marginally increased the turnout in Durham from 8.1 to 8.2%. I don't know, but that's the story we need to be carrying into this election, I think.
Thank you. On behalf of the League of Women Voters, I want to thank you for chastising people for not voting,
Yes.
so we aren't the only ones. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Mayor? Thank you, sir. Thanks for being here tonight.
So I'll just hang out in the audience and watch these candidates stop.
Yeah, you can
Great.
watch them swing in the wind or whatever. We're going to set this down. We're going to ask all of our other town council candidates to come on up now and take a place at your seat. And we have a microphone. Well, actually, we have two microphones. We're going to have to pass them around from one to the other down the line there. I will tell you that you need to point the microphone directly to your mouth. If you do not, it will not pick up your voice adequately. If you hear a p sound, you need to know you need to back off a little bit. But as you take a seat, we're going to talk a little bit about how we're going to allow you to answer questions. The League of Women Voters always likes to have the audience turn in questions for our account, for our forums. And we all have to be in the light so that the camera can see us, okay? Everybody in the audience has been given a couple of cards so that they can write down their questions. If you will just stick your card up in the air, one of our gentlemen runners will come by and pick it up and give it and bring it to us. We've got Neil Herforth and Jonas Herforth are here tonight. Where are you guys? Stand up so everybody can see you. Aren't they nice to come? They gave up their evening to be with us. I like that. So they'll come around and get your card and bring it down front where it'll be given to me. And we have some timers tonight. Everybody's got a certain amount of time they can use to answer their question. We're going to give everybody, I think it's 90 seconds for an opening statement. And down here in front we have Maria Chung and Teresa Hong, and they are going to be our timers. Wave, ladies. Say hi. They have a yellow sheet of paper and a red sheet of paper. When the yellow sheet of paper comes up, you've got about 15 seconds left. When the red sheet of paper comes up, your time is up. When your time is up, go ahead, finish your sentence. If you talk too long after that, I have a special button down here I'm going to push, and it's going to eject you right out of the room. And that will keep everything concise and on time. We're going to give each of you 90 seconds for an opening statement, which will be great to hear from you and hear what you have to say. The questions we ask, we're going to give the first person 60 seconds to answer, and everybody after that 30 seconds. I know you've been to a lot of forums, and I know that it can be tedious to listen to 7 or 8 or 15 people answer the same question all the times you've heard it. Bear with us. Our forum will be rebroadcast on Government Access Cable TV. Get used to it. Since you'll be on the council, you'll be a star. And just bear with the process. Letting everybody answer the same questions allows voters to hear everybody's opinion on the same subject rather than a hit or miss sampling of one person speaking on one subject and another person speaking on another. So we're going to start down here with DC, and he's going to get 90 seconds to answer or to give us his opening remarks.
Good evening, everybody. I am DC Swinton, the youngest candidate for Chapel Hill Town Council. I am very happy to be that. I feel like there's a need for diversity on the council, and I bring a different perspective. One, because I'm presently unemployed, and two, I feel like in general there needs to be diversity in terms of new perspectives on how to improve the town. My ultimate goal is to make Chapel Hill a town with zero tolerance for domestic and sexual violence. I'm a volunteer at the Orange County Rape Crisis Center, so this issue is very near and dear to my heart. We need to find ways to make sure that all the resources are available for survivors of domestic and sexual abuse. And I think that once we do that, then this town will be a much, much better place for everybody, and everyone will feel a lot safer. I'll be the first to admit that I don't know everything about every single focus area plan in the town, but I feel like a lot of Chapel Hill residents are the same way. Nevertheless, I want to give a voice to those that feel voiceless, low-income citizens, minority citizens, anything of that nature, and I feel like I'm the right candidate to do that. So I hope to gain your support between Thursday and November 5th.
Thanks. Amy, you're next.
Hi, I'm Amy Ryan. Thank you for inviting me to speak to you tonight. I would like to echo what Mayor Mark said about Chapel Hill owing a real debt of gratitude to the people who came before us and gave us such a great town. It's our job now to be good stewards of that legacy at the same time while we plan for change to make this a good town for the generations who will come. Finding this balance is tough. I want to make new development a good neighbor to what's already there. I want us to recognize that because of that rural buffer, as we gain new population, we're going to have to accept new density in town as we grow. I believe we need to grow our commercial tax base, but I'm concerned with current plans that would give us 1 million new square feet of commercial space, or of retail space, and 1 million new square feet of office space in the next decade or so. Instead, I want us to grow sensibly in a way that enhances the character of the town and doesn't cannibalize our downtown and existing businesses. And I especially want to look comprehensively at planning in town, for the town to decide as a whole what we need to add and the ways we need to grow and the best places to put that growth. After we do that, I think we should make it a priority to make it easier for developers to give us what we want. It's important that we grapple with these issues now. Right now we're in the 2020 implementation process where we're going to make a lot of the specific decisions that are going to guide growth and change in the future. As a council member, I can bring an expertise on planning issues. I've been on the Planning Board and the Community Design Commission and other town boards for the last 10 years. I also have a degree in landscape architecture, which is an expertise that is lacking on council right now, and I hope to bring those skills to meet with council as we plan for change into the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm glad to be here. I look forward to helping implement the Chapel Hill 2020 plan. I was a co-chair of the Transportation Committee. I have also served Orange County as a Human Rights Commissioner. I pastored Iglesia Unida de Cristo, the first Hispanic church in our county, which I founded here in Chapel Hill. It's now on Martin Luther King Boulevard. We moved there in 2000. I'm an ordained minister who has volunteered in area hospitals and the police department. I founded Mi Escuelita, the first Spanish immersion preschool in this area, and was instrumental in bringing Spanish immersion to our schools. So I'm not afraid of change. I think it can make us more competitive and stronger as a community. I think Chapel Hill can become a model of innovation to better meet the needs of its diverse population, and it can provide improved pedestrian, bicycle, and public transportation networks throughout town. It can be a community that attracts entrepreneurs, artists, innovators, and yes, businesses of all kinds. But we can do this in a very sensible way, and I have been part of all this planning and look forward to continuing that. Chapel Hill can expand recreation options, and if we do it smartly without increasing our taxes. Thank you.
Go ahead, Gary.
Okay. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for this forum. Having attended the town council meetings for the past 2.5 years, I've been a vocal, outspoken person at some of those meetings. They have were from the cell phone ban issue. Currently, the Obi Creek one, I spoke about the hotel. I also spoke about the controversial bus signs that appeared on the buses, which was from the Church of Reconciliation. I said I was neither for them or against it, but they were just basically politically incorrect. I also, during the Yates Building incident, I was an outspoken person saying that there should be a private investigation into that, which the town council didn't go with. So I'm a little annoyed at that, but what can you do? And hopefully, I hope to inform you, what's going on in town right now, and express what I feel is best for Chapel Hill. Thank you.
What you do, Gary, is you run for office. Lauren.
Good evening.
Yeah, there you go.
Good evening, I'm Lauren Hintz, and I hope you'll support me running for Chapel Hill Town Council. I first came to Chapel Hill while I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Central America, came back here in graduate school, and then started working as a teacher in Northampton County. I moved back in 1992, and since then I've volunteered in a number of organizations. I was co-chair of Sierra Club, president of the Kings Mill Morgan Creek Neighborhood Association. I've also served as chair of the Chapel Hill Transportation Board, and currently am on the Orange County Commission for the Environment. Two things which are really important to me in running is, first, I want the council to be more proactive and local government to be more proactive, not wait for things to happen. So, for example, not wait for a pedestrian death before we improve the safety of an intersection. The second thing with the 2020 plan implementation is committees have a very important role. As a council member, I want to make sure that we, in a timely fashion, implement the recommendations. And if we don't implement the recommendations, we should have staff explain why, so people serving the committees don't feel like their time is wasted. I've taught for the last 19 years in Chapel Hill High School. I feel I have a good feel for needs of a lot of the community. I hope to be your advocate for public transportation, the environment, and social justice. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ed?
Thanks to the League for holding this. I'm Ed Harrison, and I'm a year older than I was yesterday. So I hope we have an enjoyable evening, because there's not much time left to
Have all these
celebrate.
forums aged you?
And I've spent quite a few birthday evenings in actual council work, council meetings, including one that was 6.5 hours long 5 years ago. I like brevity. I happen to believe this is a job. I take seriously the work. I take seriously responding to constituent concerns, and I do the best I can every time someone contacts us. And I do what I can to help them understand our complicated processes, both town processes and council processes. I can't always explain the politics. And as I have in my environmental career, I'm a generalist with specialties, and my specialties include advocating and analyzing every form of transportation and just about every environmental issue that confronts a local government. And both of these are slow places to make progress, particularly transportation, because in the case of Chapel Hill, we don't own very many roads and we don't have much money. But I would like to keep working, as I have for a dozen years, on making progress, however slow it is, because we need to make it.
Thank you very much. Sally?
Thank you, Vicki, and thank you all from the League of Women Voters. As a woman and a voter, I very much appreciate everything that you do, particularly in these days. I am proud to say that I am one of those long stream of leaders that Mark mentioned that has flowed through Chapel Hill and tried to make a difference working with my community. I've served 2 terms on the council, and I have tried my best to make a difference. I've made a difference in affordable housing. I've made a difference in the support that we give to our homeless. I've made a difference in neighborhood preservation. I've made a difference in historic preservation. I've made a difference in environmental preservation. And I've made a difference for the Chapel Hill Public Library. Now, nobody makes a difference in Chapel Hill alone. It's been my privileged to work with many wonderful colleagues on the council and with you in the community. And we together are constantly working to reinforce and reclaim our values that are very well expressed in Chapel Hill 2020 as we grow and change. I want to continue to be part of that process. I have the energy, the drive, and the dedication to continue to do my best to work with you to shape our future. I've been endorsed by the North Carolina AFL-CIO. I would invite you to see my website, sallygreen.org, for more information about me and my campaign. And I urge you to vote, to go green with your vote on November 5th at the latest.